Welcome to the Flight Club Podcast, a woman's guide to leaning out. We give you a behind-the-scenes look at business launch and growth through the stories of successful female entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Felina Hansen, founder and CEO of Hera Hub.
Hello and welcome. I am excited to share my conversation today with Melissa Wogahn. She is really probably one of the healthiest people I know. She is a national board certified health and wellness coach, and she has a passion to help women realize that it is possible to live an active life even if you hate to exercise. She has a book on this topic, which we'll talk about. She has a master's degree in exercise psychology and is a provider for the Exercise is Medicine Initiative, a program connecting physicians with top health and fitness providers. She's also involved here in San Diego in the Feeling Fit program, which is a program offering free functional fitness classes throughout the county for anyone 60 years age or older. Welcome to the show today, Melissa.
Well, thank you. Hi, Felina. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, for one of the healthiest women I know, let's go back and take us along your career path up to the point, and you've been self-employed twice throughout your career. We'll get to the point of your current business, but take us back even further. Where'd you go to school? What'd you study? And then what was your career path from there?
I went to, my undergraduate degree is in physical education, and I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And at that time, I had every intention of going a fifth year, getting my teacher credential, and teaching physical education in the schools. I really wanted to work at the middle school level. I just loved the craziness of that age, and I just loved the kids. But things took a different path for me at that time. I started to teach some fitness classes as I was nearing the end of my senior year, and I ended up owning a fitness franchise, teaching fitness classes. And I, at that time, made a decision not to pursue my teaching credential, to my father's dismay, as he was a college professor. Mm-hmm. But I took the little more risky route of just seeing where this passion that I felt could take me. And what I really loved about it even at that time, my early 20s, I loved that people, women especially, would come to this class hating to exercise and leaving class feeling so much better about themselves, about their life, and making it easier to plow through their lives. And so I always remembered that feeling. So that's kind of what I started is I still got my degree, and then I taught fitness for as a franchisee for probably 5 or 6 years full time. And
wait. I want to slow down here a little bit, if I may. You came right out of school and bought into a franchise and became a business owner. Like, boom, go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Get going. And at that time, it was at that time, I don't think instructors do this nowadays, but I was teaching 10 classes, 13 classes at the most per week. Okay. So, I had no family. I wasn't responsible for anyone but myself. And so it was easy in that respect. But after 5 or 6 years, I started to feel, now what? I've kind of done this. I've been successful. Now what do I do? Do I go back for my teaching credential? And I thought, I really enjoy learning so much that I went for a master's degree in exercise physiology, actually. And I moved back home, and I was able to live at home and commute down to USC. And it was an interesting couple of years, I will say, and that I had been out of school for 5 years, and I had to kind of put the student hat back on, and it did take a bit of doing, but I got through it, and right out of, actually, let me think, I got an internship with a corporate wellness company while I was doing my graduate work. And so I would put in some time, and I learned a lot about corporate wellness and what was going on. This is probably in the mid 80s. So at that time, corporate wellness was a really big thing, and they were doing a lot of health fairs. And so I did that. And then right after I graduated with my master's degree, I got hired as a program director for a company called Pritikin. And I don't know if you remember the Pritikin diet.
Mm-mm.
It was one of the, it was back in, I think it was the 80s, early 80s, Nathan Pritikin came up with a very low-fat, high complex carbohydrate diet, and they were opening these centers around Southern California. And so I was involved in the opening of a medical fitness facility. It was like 13,000 square foot facility. And I hired the exercise physiologist staff, the dietitians, and we were contracted with a medical group. So that was a really great way to put what I had learned in school into practice and to see how we could make a business out of it. And so it was a great experience. And unfortunately, the company, the business could not realize the potential at that time. It was cutting edge, and we did not have a physician on staff full time, so we were not able to get the insurance reimbursement that they were planning on. So they ended up folding, and I had left about a year before they folded. And I thought, wait, I can do all this on my own. And so I started another company called Healthy Heart Fitness Programs, where I would go, because corporate wellness was so huge. I was able to offer biometric screenings and lectures and seminars for corporate wellness programs for their corporate health fairs. So we did that. I had a small team of people, and we just went around to corporate health fairs. And actually, I branched out, and I did a lot of work for Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs at that time.
Yeah,
we would go in, offer free lectures, and do biometric screenings, and each person would get like an educational handout of what their scores meant and what they could do about it, resources for them. So it was, I had a lot of control, and I was able to use a lot of creativity, so that was great. And so then what happened? I'm trying to think. I ended up from there. Then corporate wellness kind of went by the wayside at that time. Companies were pulling back, the recession in the 80s, the late 80s. And so I was hired on as an exercise physiologist for a multidisciplinary chronic pain management center. And so we had a team of physicians and psychologists and physical therapists, occupational therapists, myself, and we were a team. We worked together to try to get people suffering from chronic pain able to manage their pain within, and so that was, again, a really interesting experience. How do you get somebody to move that doesn't want to move, but the only way they're going to manage their pain is if they get more function, so we never promised pain riddance. We only promised pain management. So that was another great experience. And then at that time, my husband was involved in a startup company in Carlsbad. We were up in LA at the time. And long story short, we relocated down to Carlsbad. And so I took a couple of years off, and then decided, what can I do? What can I do where I have a lot of autonomy, a lot of creativity? And I got into personal training, and I've been doing that since 1999, 2000, around then. So, it's great to work with people. I mean, it's really fun, everything about it. But what I did in the last, 2017, I took my board certification for health and wellness coaching, and that's just opened up a whole area for me. And what I love about it is that it helps me enable people to realize for themselves how they can go about creating lasting change for physical activity. So that's
Yeah.
the long and short of it.
I love it. I love it. And you wrote a book.
Mm-hmm. I wrote a
Talk
book
about your
called
book.
so the book is called Off the Couch, How to Find Joy Through Physical Activity, Even If You Hate to Exercise. And the gist of the book really is to get somebody, by the end of reading this book, I would hope somebody can think about physical activity and say, maybe I can. And it's just to kind of open the door to thinking about some possibilities. How can I make change happen? And, I've used the book for my group programs. And, of course, I've, developed a program that goes a little bit more in depth in the book. But the book is like the first step. If somebody is interested in really figuring out how can I exercise when I hate to do it, I don't like going to the gym, I don't like doing this or that. Well, let's think about how you can think about activity differently.
Mm.
So that's the whole goal of the book.
That's awesome. I can certainly understand if somebody's in pain, not wanting to move, but it feels so good to move. Why don't we all love exercise, Melissa?
Well, there's so many reasons why, and I think that it takes so much time, and it's hard to create that time if you don't feel like you have the time.
Mm-hmm.
And to create that time when you don't feel like you have the time to do something that you don't like so many people don't like the feeling of exertion, of physical exertion.
Mm.
And I think that I've had many people say to me, well, I walk, but I don't exercise. And walking is such a fabulous way of just increasing activity in your life. If all you could do was walk, then walking is a great way to do it. In fact, the National Weight Control Registry has been collecting data on people who have been successful at weight loss, losing over 30 pounds, and they've had to have kept it off for 2 years before they will take your data. And what they found is that over, I think it's like 95% of the people who have been successful at weight loss have done it through walking.
Yeah.
And so with walking, you don't really always have to feel this sense of exertion if you're not one to want to feel that way. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's a great way to start the ball rolling. And if that's all you end up doing, then that's great. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny when you said that, that walking's not exercise. And I'm like, oh, I would definitely consider it exercise. But I totally see your point. It's not weightlifting or, something that's a little more exertion.
Yeah. And I think people have a preconceived idea of what exercise should, quote unquote, be. Mm-hmm. And what it should be is something that works for you. Yeah. And there's no right or wrong. It's just, I always say anything you do is better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just move. Park your car as far away from the store as you can and walk all the way across the parking lot.
Right, exactly.
Simple things, right? Take the stairs, not the elevator.
It's simple things. Yeah, it's the simple things that add up that people tend to discount, is not counting.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel, Melissa, that this whole Fitbit fitness tracker, I don't want to call it a craze, but trend, and maybe not a trend because I don't think it's going anywhere, but do you think this is helping people? Do you see this in the clients that you work with?
Well, I do think that it certainly makes people a lot more aware of just the little things they're doing through the day. Mm-hmm. And it's helping them realize that these little things do add up in terms of steps. And what I will say, it is kind of an external motivator, which is fine. I don't want to discount that in any way. I do think there's some work that internally we'd have to do on ourselves for that lasting change to stick with it. So,
explain that.
Well, internal meaning how can I look at physical activity differently? The internal work that has to be done for change to be realized on a lasting basis. Mm-hmm. So once the novelty wears off on the Fitbit, how can you continue to keep those steps going? In other words, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Fitbits and those monitors are terrific. But and I wouldn't say that. And I would also say, while you're noticing those steps, notice how you're feeling about other areas of your life, and how does having this sense of activity create a different way of relating to people. Maybe you're easier to relate to people, and so that might be a motivating factor to keep going if you're not motivated by that Fitbit anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Melissa, are you working, do you have, folks that you work with, referral partners or whatever you want to call them, that are maybe doing nutritional side of things, or is that something you also do for your clients?
I refer out for nutrition.
Okay.
I tend to not, well, here's what am I feeling about nutrition. I mean, I think nutrition is great. I love everything about learning about it. I think that the one thing I recommend to all my clients that are interested in eating differently is the book, Michael Pollan's book. It's called Food Rules, a very simple paperback book. And what he says is how everybody should eat. And if somebody can take that book and kind of apply it, then great. If they need help, then I would refer out to people who work more on diet. I mean, I can coach around somebody that wants to learn how to make goals and, that type of thing. But in terms of telling somebody, prescribing a diet, I don't do that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll make a note in the show notes here of that book, because it's so, I don't know why it's still so confusing for myself included. And I think a lot of people, I mean, going back to what you talked about, one of your early, career path moves at the Pritkin program, the Pritkin diet. Yeah. I remember growing up, and my stepmother was, always looking for that next sort of thing, if you will, in trends as far as eating. And, we went from, and I feel like we've done this now a couple times, like the pendulum just keeps swinging back and forth. Like one period of time, it's all carbs and no sugar. And, I remember in college, like just eating bagels, like constantly. That's all I ate, and potatoes. Like I was like, what am I doing? And then, it's all protein, and, this is like keto is the newest thing. Right. And it's like, why is this? What are people just trying to make money? Like, what's going on here?
Well, that's part of it. And I think that, here's the thing. The bottom line is that leading researchers really can't even agree on what the best diet is. And so, that's why I don't prescribe diets. I mean, the Food Rules book will explain, just eat very simply, as close to how the food came out of the earth, without minimal processing, and go from there, for heaven's sakes, and go out for a walk,
it doesn't have to be that complex. I know. It's so interesting.
The media really confuses us.
Yeah.
And there are leading researchers who don't agree with each other about what's the best thing to do. So that makes it hard.
It does, yeah. And I would imagine too, we're different. People are different, right? Like, we have different body types. Our body metabolizes things differently. I mean, I can imagine, the keto diet's probably not for everybody, right? I mean, it maybe it works for some people, but not all.
Yeah. And I think that is very true. I think a vegan diet may not work for everybody. And a paleo diet, I mean, they're all work for somebody, but do they work for you? Well, just try it out, see how you like it.
Yeah.
But,
we just watched, have you seen the movie Game Changers? It's a documentary on vegetarian athletes.
No.
It's a pretty good one. You might enjoy it. So I'm not sure how long ago. It's fairly recent, I think. And
I'll make a note of that. Yeah, great.
Netflix or whatnot. But they profile all of these like Olympic athletes, super high performing athletes who have gone vegetarian, some vegan, all the way down to vegan. But just their performance and, all of these things improved. And what I thought was interesting, I watched it with my boyfriend who is into Muay Thai fighting. So
Uh-huh.
very, mixed martial arts, very
Yes, yeah.
into fitness and whatnot. And he's like, I think a lot of men, this meat, fuel my body,
Hmm.
eat red meat kind of thing. And that movie totally changed his mind. I mean, I think he's been eating vegetarian for every day since we saw that
Oh, how
documentary.
interesting.
Yeah, so it is, to your point. I mean, there's so much conflicting information out there, and it's try it, see how your body
Just try it
feels,
out.
listen to your body.
And I think that brings up a really interesting point about your boyfriend watching this film. There are so many documentaries about food that are really well done and
Mhm.
that can really open up your eyes to how we are made to feel. The food industry is quite divisive,
Mhm.
and different diets are pushed. It,
Yeah.
it's a yeah. So there's a lot of good documentaries out there. I
Yeah,
think Food
abs
Rules was one of them. Isn't that one? No,
okay.
not Food Rules. That's the book. I forget the name of the ones, but they're out there. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, perfect. So, Melissa, what's on the horizon for your business? What are you looking forward to for 2020?
well, yeah, that's a good question. I'm really very much looking forward to kind of opening up my practice to marketing to organizations, business to business,
Mm,
healthcare providers, and fitness professionals that want a way to help their clients or patients to get more active, and how can they empower really their clients or their patients to look at physical activity in a way that will work for them to get more active. And so I've just been signed on as a speaker for the Sharp Women's Health Conference in April of next year. So I'm looking
congrats.
forward to that. Yeah, and so yeah, that's kind of where my practice is heading at this point, for sure. I'm looking very much forward to it. I think I can reach a lot more people
Yeah,
working with organizations. So that's where I'm headed.
fantastic.
And yeah, looking
Yay.
forward to it.
Love it, love it. And if our listeners wanna get in touch with you, Melissa, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, they can go to my website. It's joyofactiveliving.com. They can email me at melissa@joyofactiveliving.com. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from people. Terrific.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Felina, for having me. Take care.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of Flight Club, sponsored by Hera Hub. We look forward to sharing more success stories with you soon.